You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
Right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the WNBA CBA. We got an article here that claims the CBA would have to be done by February in order for the season to not get delayed. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I know underneath the title of the article is something I disagree with right off the bat. And once again, it seems like another really pro-player article. The sports media has really further spread out their pro-player agenda in covering this CBA. No doubt about it. Annie Constable, I don't know why that surprises me, put this article out. WNBA could be weeks away from delaying season. And this second line, this subtitle, is very strange to me. Despite releasing the schedule earlier this week, the WNBA likely needs to agree to a CBA by February to start the season on time. How come that doesn't say the Players Union would likely have to agree with the CBA that's on the table from the owners? They've got a CBA on the table. Well, the players countered it. Okay, the owners didn't acknowledge it. It tells you all you need to know. The owners are not signing that CBA. They've already come out and said, hey, we're going to lose $700 million with what they're proposing. They're not going to do it. So I would say that is off the table. We've also got Asia Wilson posting something that's kind of interesting because it gives you the sense that the players, the cracks in the foundation of the Players Union and what's going on is starting to show up. We talked about this the other day. We know one thing. I believe there's only right around, let's just say rough estimate, 60 players in Unrivaled. What happens with all the other players that didn't play in that league? That's the players that are going to want the new CBA to be signed. Probably the deal that's on the table. Again, something we've talked about in the last few days. I think you're heading down a road where you may see players, the infighting is going to start happening. All right, the players that are 5, 6, 7 on down in the rotation are going to be looking at their watches and they're like, I'm going to take this money that's on the table. We can come back at a later date, 3 years down the line, and relook at this thing. But I need to get paid. The WNBA wants everyone to believe the 2026 season will tip off May 8th. It asserted it as much with an announcement of a 44-game slate and a statement that explained in part that it was to allow, quote, essential planning to begin. The reality of where the collective bargaining agreement negotiation stands paints a different picture. As of Friday, the Players Union was still waiting on a response from the league to a proposal it sent nearly a month ago, multiple sources told Front Office Sports. Well, they didn't acknowledge it. So what do you think that means? In that proposal, the union is seeking 30% of the share of the gross revenue and a salary cap of $10.5 million. Not going to happen. The league's last proposal includes a max base salary of $1 million, which would increase to more than $1.3 million with revenue share. The league is proposing sharing roughly 70% of the net revenue over the span of the deal. Yeah, but what they're not telling you here is by the end of this CBA proposal, that max number goes up to nearly $2 million. And that's on the table from the league. So as the CBA progresses, that max number, along with all the other salaries, your minimums, your averages, all of that would go up as the CBA progresses. In other words, the owners are trying to build in a mechanism where the players can still make more money, but they get to see what their business is actually going to look like under this new media rights deal and this new landscape. The salary cap would be $5 million in year one and would grow in tandem with the league's revenue. The WNBPA did not comment on the league's schedule release, but multiple players shared their thoughts on social media. Four-time MVP A'ja Wilson posted a clip of the show Reasonable Doubt to her threads. Right here, this is a scene, I guess, from this show. A'ja said, "Me looking at the schedule release."
Somebody better start talking right now before I start screaming.
Okay. Somebody better start talking before I start screaming. Well, what's very odd about that is she talking about the league or is she talking about the players' union? Because Sophie Cunningham came out the other day, all they're getting is like bits and pieces. Some random emails or conversation, like tidbits, something. It sounds like all the players involved here don't exactly know what's happening. It goes on to talk about the fact that you're starting out with a finals rematch. It's crazy as hell. This literally doesn't mention the Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Becker's not mentioned right here. Talking about the schedule release. That's wild work. That's wild action. The second extension of the original October 31 CBA deadline passed on January 9 with no deal reached and no agreement to a third extension. Beyond legitimate speculation about the league's ability to start a season in May were questions about the 44-game slate. We know they're not going to move increase the schedule this year because of the World Cup. No big deal. The union proposed eliminating the designation altogether, but the league has been unresponsive to the suggestion. I guess talking about free agency involving the expansion draft. Multiple sources believe the best case scenario for free agency would be early March, and that's if the ink dries on a new CBA by early February, giving the WNBA the rest of the month to plan and conduct their expansion drafts. Well, it's my understanding the WNBA on their side is preparing for business as usual. So in other words, do we really believe that these teams, their leadership, they don't have their boards ready? I mean, surely they do, or it's the leadership in this league is irresponsible across all these teams. They should have all their mocks done for who they're going to protect and let go in the expansion and who they're going to target in free agency. That better be ready right now. In case a deal is signed today. In a typical year, free agency begins in early January and all major signings are commonly wrapped up by early February. Applying this same timeline to current state of affairs would mean that an early March start date for free agency would give teams enough runway to construct rosters by the start of training camp April 19th. However, in the middle of free agency, front offices will prepare for the 2026 WNBA draft scheduled for April 30th. Both sides have emphasized a commitment to the league's 30th season. Well, here's the problem now for the players. If they strike and we don't have a season, the players are going to get blamed. The public is firmly, do you still have a 20%? The old WNBA fandom that are like, pay them like NBA players. Sure, you still got those fans out there. They're idiots. They're not paying attention. They think there's some big conspiracy and the owners are hiding money. Mother frick. Dumb. Nonetheless, look, I said it. The pressure is on the players now. Fans are very aware of what's on the table, what's been offered. The schedule is out. People are worked into a lather. They're excited, circling the games they care about. If this league, if these players, and it will be on the players, if the players choose not to sign a CBA and the season goes kaput, or there's even 3 games lost, it's going to be devastating to this league. Devastating. Because you got a lot of people this close to walking away from this league anyway after that mess last year around Caitlin Clark's injury. Tell me what you think. Black and White Sports supporters, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Thanks for watching. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.